Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana
and Marnie. Yeah,
it's been a hot week.
It's a hot week. Yesterday I was on a roof in Paddington,
nice,
surrounded by industry folk, doing a schmooze.
I mean, you're used to that.
I don't know. It's
You
very weird.
find it quite natural.
I do. I'm actually just really fun to be around. So I just think that really helps. No, I think that I love a drink. I usually know at least one person.
You kind of, yeah. It's
this time everyone from my work, pretty much everyone from my work was
good.
there. So it's like, well, I'll always have someone to talk to. But I ended up not talking to anyone from work. Really.
That's actually, but that's good because sometimes you can just end up just sticking with the work people, but actually it's all about, you know, schmooze and then getting to know other people from different teams and different companies.
No, I didn't get to know people from different teams.
Who were you with?
My writers.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice because we don't get, like, we only ever see each other in a work mode. So it was actually like, oh, who are you as a person? What do you do?
That's really
what
nice.
do you like? So that was fun. And then today, woke up hungover.
Oh, okay, great. I thought you were gonna woke up. I'm like, that. I mean, that is an achievement in itself.
Woke up hungover and I said, today's a write-off. I'm not doing any work. And then I remembered I had a meeting. So
No!
I in fact had two. So that's all I did today.
Wow. Also,
I just didn't. I don't know. Sometimes there's like a new version of hungover where you wake up the next day and you're like, I have no drive.
Yeah.
Just none.
That's perfectly honest. I find it quite hard to have like events midweek because it just breaks up the momentum for the rest of the week. And then when it's a Saturday and there's like a late thing, Sunday's a write-off. I can't go to church. I'm so tired.
Yeah. This week I went to the cinema one day.
Yeah.
I went to a pub quiz on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
I went to this party yesterday.
Well, you've been a real social butterfly.
Literally.
And you're seeing me today.
I know. I haven't been in my house at night time all week.
How does that make you feel?
Fine.
Oh really? Like when I have those periods, and I notice it's like it's usually a burst. It's like when that happens, I'm like, okay, great. I planned it. I know it's gonna happen like maybe weeks in advance. But if it's unexpected, I'm like, I get so tired. I need to have at least one day at home so I can do like life admin. Because life admin is a weekly thing. Like I need to wash my clothes. I need to clean the house. I need to sometimes cook.
I do not do chores midweek. I do all my chores on the weekend.
Because you come and visit, I sometimes have to do midweek.
Damn. So what was this place looking like yesterday?
My biggest accomplishment for the whole week was
what?
Fixing the toilet seats. Replacing the toilet seat. I'm
very brave of you.
I'm telling you, this is the times there
Why
are
didn't
very.
you just get your levels to it. I didn't get it.
I mean, I should have.
It doesn't. It's not like you have to pay a service charge or anything. You can't be able to do it for free.
Yeah, but there's no point. There have been times when I have to do like handiwork around the house where I say to myself, this is when you need a man. But then after I've got it done, I've done it all by myself, I feel so accomplished. Like,
yeah.
That table, like I have a standing desk where you can raise it up and lower it if you need to. And it took me 8 hours to fix myself. No. It did. The whole day.
You're not a handy person.
I know why it took so long. It's because I started it, and it's actually quite a lot of parts to assemble. But as I was assembling, I assembled one thing wrong, and then that was a ripple effect to messing up everything else. So then I had to start again. So that's why it took so long. Then I had to clean up, and there was tons of boxes. So the whole thing took 8 hours. But after I got it done, it felt very accomplishing. Like I could do it myself, but in the same breath, I don't want to do it all by myself. This is when you need a man, because on the same day I looked on social media and there was this girl who just recently got married and her man was fixing up and assembling her wardrobe for her, and she was sitting there having a glass of wine, and that's what I would have wanted to do.
Yeah,
or just hire someone to do it.
I quite like putting stuff together.
Really?
Yeah, I like going. Okay, this is nothing yet, but in like an hour and a half, it'll be something, and it's like you just have to focus for like an hour and a half on this thing. And I also don't mind. I was talking to a friend of mine about this. I think I've realised something about myself is I need to get to the bottom of something. Like I would, if I was like, so I'm making a dress at the moment. And the neckband I sewed on very confidently backwards.
Oh,
and then I had to unpick all the stitches, and then I sewed it on the right way, but for some reason in the middle I've just had it had come off.
Yeah.
So the middle was just flapping in the wind.
Did you sew it with a sewing machine
Yeah.
in your hand? Oh, this is really cool.
So I had to unpick it again. And honestly, what should have taken me maybe max 30, 45 minutes took me 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating, don't get me wrong, but at the end I was like,
yeah.
And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind making a mistake when it's me, like, oh, do you know what, I see what I've done here.
Yeah.
What bothers me is when there's another person involved and you didn't listen to me and now we've got to start again. So I actually think maybe I'll be like to my partner, you can do like the cleaning, because I don't love to clean.
Okay.
I also don't love to cook.
Okay, so basically...
Let's swap roles.
So you will do all the handy stuff and he will do the cooking and cleaning?
Yeah, I'm not iron. I like iron.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
and I'll sort people's outfits for the week.
I mean, do you know what? That is naturally your type of role.
Yeah, I absolutely
that makes sense. I kind of relate to the whole, like, liking to get things done. Well, like, even though I do not like all the handyman assembling type of stuff, when I get into it, it's like I need to finish it, and I need to finish it well. So, like, the reason I had to fix the toilet seat was because it's always been wonky. Since the minute I moved in, the toilet seat was wonky. And I was speaking to some friends, and they were talking about how their toilet seats were all messed up, and I was like, come on, guys, we need to we need to fix this up. And, you know, I've almost slipped on it myself, and then when Marnie came and visited last week and I heard bam bam bam, I realised it has to be fixed.
I sat down and I got a nasty surprise.
Yeah. So I said, no, it has to be done. It's been on my list for so long, but I've just been like pushing it to one side and not prioritising it. So I fixed it. I was trying to take it off. It was so rusty and so like tight to unscrew. So that's why we took around an hour to try and do it, which is just ridiculous.
See, that's why you need to get yourself.
I know I've got a wrench. A wrench.
What you need to do is get yourself one of those electric screwdrivers.
It's not one of those type of things.
Oh, it's not a screw.
No, it's not. Is it one of those like? It's like a plasticky thing, but you have to turn it, and really you have to use your hand. But because it was so fused in and so rusted. Excuse me. Yeah, it just took forever to try and like loosen, and it got to the point where I literally was like yanking the toilet seat off, and it kind of broke at one point. The toilet seat, which was fine because I bought a replacement. And then once I finally was able to fix it on, it was still a bit wonky. So I literally went back again. I went about twice and was like, nope, it's still wonky. Went back in again, nope. And then now, hopefully, when you sit on it, it's steady.
I'll let the lads know.
Yeah, but and I did that in the morning. I did that before I went to work. That was stupid of me because I knew I shouldn't. I should have just started doing it when I got back after work. But this week, similar to you, has been kind of busy where I've been coming home a bit late, so I've just not had the time to like relax, de-stress, and then be like, oh, let me fix the toilet seat. But when your headspace is there, you kind of don't want to finish it. That's the hyper independent aspect of my mind.
Yeah, I think I'm a morning person when it comes to tasks like that as well.
Same.
I'm like when I get home from work, I'm the best I can manage is eat food.
Yeah.
Not even cook. So yeah, it's already been cooked. I'm just heating it up, and watch a TV show.
Yeah.
And take a shower.
Yeah.
That is the achievement. Yeah. Those are the only things that I can like confidently say I will be able to achieve. If I'm like, oh, I'm good, because I remember I was like, oh, maybe if I do like an hour of sewing a day, my dress will be done in the week. And then I was like, I don't want to go to work, come home and sit down in front of this sewing machine. I want to lie on the floor. Yeah.
It's like my brain has used about 80% of its power for the whole day by the time I get home.
Yeah, I just can't focus.
I can't. I'm falling asleep. I'm just so tired. So yeah, I was kind of happy that I just did it in the morning, even though I was kind of late-ish for work, or later than I planned, basically.
Very keeping in character for you.
I'm actually generally on time now.
I'm famously the latest person I know.
We know, because that's someone else.
No, I'm saying
Caroline is definitely the latest
person.
person.
Consistently, from when I first met you to now, who's the most been late most often is you.
Probably, but I've definitely improved in my older age.
But you haven't eradicated it.
It's getting there. A habit takes a long time to break.
No.
It is.
Actually takes 30 days to break out.
I know it does, but Look,
according to...
I am working hard on it. It's taken many years. It's not, also, I've noticed it's not just me. It's like not a generation. It's a cultural thing. So you have to break the culture of PC time.
I'm not that late often.
Yeah, you know what, you're not.
Actually,
When you are late, it's like rare. It's like,
Yeah.
huh? But I'm telling you, I've definitely improved. I should win the award for best improved.
It's so weird because it's an award that you shouldn't even be proud to get. Because what does it say? You were bad at something before.
That I am,
you're relatively
but I'm breaking.
okay at.
That I'm breaking bad habits.
Why should you celebrate that?
Because I think it's good to show
Why don't
development
you
and
just break the
improvement.
habit completely?
No, but
celebrate that.
I think it's so hard. Development is a hard thing, so every little step should be celebrated.
Development is a hard thing.
Yeah.
But it takes consistency.
Yes, and you should be praising me for being
No,
consistent.
there's no praise for development, famously. There isn't.
Wow.
I was talking to my writers yesterday.
Wow.
And there isn't any praise. There is no pat on the back. There is no win. Until your episode is on TV,
that's...
you aren't finished with work.
That's what we talked about. That is what frustrates me the most about the creative industry, and I'm in the creative industry, because you could keep on going until kingdom come,
Yeah.
but you have to let it go at one point.
Yeah.
Even now, there's a show that I was working on, and I was like, I can't look at this show again. And people have been asking me like, how's the show been going? How's the artwork looking? And I'm just getting a bit of PTSD. I can't.
Name names.
I can't name it.
Name names.
I'm getting PTSD every time I have to open it and look at the creative
I
again.
look at creative for.
I'm not telling you that. But what I'm going to say is this, like, the creative process is a process. It never stops unless you tell it to stop, or unless you get to a point of satisfaction. But no one can be satisfied, but you just have to take the subjectivity that you hear from every single angle and say, enough is enough. And I'm happy with this and I stand by it.
I love that.
It's hard though. Your role is hard.
I don't know if I made a short film once, and I remember the first time I watched it, all I could do was be like, the lighting is off here. This isn't how this scene was supposed to go. This is not where this thing was supposed to be filmed. This actor is not delivering the lines they're supposed to be said properly. Like, this is a joke. Why they ended it like that? Just that every single scene, every single shot, I knew was not what we had intended to make.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again literally 3 years later, and I was like, this isn't that bad. Like, in my head, it had turned into this, like, it was just diabolical from start to finish. There was not one good thing about it. And then watching it again, me and my friend who directed it sat like this, like, sort of watching it through our hands, like, ready to cringe. And we were like, this is actually quite funny.
Yeah. I think when you're in the weeds of a project or product or anything, you notice every single detail.
Yeah.
But to the regular degler, to the audience, to the consumer, they don't care. They just want something that, I mean, honestly, it's very bad. Like, they won't notice it. They're just like, this is a piece of content that I'm enjoying. But for you, because you were there, you know the hard work that came before. Your focus is on everything that's going wrong. It's just human nature.
Yeah.
But do you see yourself ever becoming like a writer, like your writer friends?
No.
That was very like definitive. Like, nah.
I don't like the. I was talking to someone about this recently. I just don't like the business of writing.
Oh, really?
Like, I love stories. I feel like I always will write things. Like, but the idea of like that being my job and that's what I get paid to do, and having to tweak it until it becomes something I'm no longer interested in, and then, you know, oh, guess what, we're filming it. Okay, I don't care about this anymore. Oh, guess what, it's out. Like, okay, people really like it. Okay, you've won an award. Okay, like, it's not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And then it's just that over and over. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. And I feel like you put so much of yourself into stuff when you write as well. And so I feel like when you get notes, and it's made me. I think that's what makes me good at my job, is that I think about how I would feel if I was getting that note. But even then, like, I've never been a jobbing writer.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically what parts of yourself you put into this. So I might be like, this storyline with the girl and her mum feels a bit fake, doesn't it? And then someone's like, that's literally based on my relationship, my mum. You're like, oh, it still isn't good though. So can you take it out? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, sometimes it can just feel so, like, cruel.
Yeah.
And nobody intends to be cruel.
Yeah.
But if it don't work, it don't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if my heart could take it. It's not even like it's not like a fear thing. It's simply just like, I just don't think I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you'd want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't think I enjoy my job all the time.
I don't think anyone enjoys their job like 24/7.
Yeah. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like sitting in a room with this person and telling them what doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. And then also having to figure out a way to say it that sounds positive.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just want to go in there and be like, no, just cut it out.
Yeah, it's not working.
Just cut it out.
I now call my like honest and transparent calls the come to Jesus moment. I'm like, I'm gonna have to have a come to Jesus moment with this creative.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to Jesus moment with this person.
A colleague of mine says that.
Yeah.
When it's like, yeah, the draft is still not where it needs to be. I think we just need to have a frank and honest discussion.
Yeah.
Where like only one of us will call them up and be like, guess, like, things aren't good.
Yeah. I had the call at that today, and I was going to go in and be like, ask them how everything's going, what their thoughts are on the title, and I just went in. I was like, you know what, I'm going to be very honest and transparent with you with this. Like, we're not even scratching the surface of where we should be with this title, and you know, it was received well, but sometimes you need to have the come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
In life and in work.
And sometimes you just want to go into a meeting and be like, everything's actually great.
Yeah, do you know,
everything's great. I love this. And that's what yesterday was nice. It was like, there are some writers on my roster who I was like, this might be a bit awkward because they owe me a draft or something.
Yeah.
Are we going to be a bit tense? It's like, it's a party. You're allowed to have a one night where you're like, yeah, okay, you owe me a draft, but who cares?
Yeah.
Let's have a drink. How are you? And then there are other writers who's like, do you know what? This project has been quite plain sailing. I want to have a drink with you.
Same. Do you know what? When there's people that I've worked with and I'm like, you just seem really chill. You seem chill in the work environment. I can only imagine you'll be the exact same for a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
no issues.
Weird stuff. And then there was definitely a right yesterday where I was just like trying not to second guess the behaviour, being like, right, she came over and spoke to me and then was like, oh, I'm gonna go quickly say hi to blah blah, and like didn't come back.
Yeah.
And I was like, it feels a bit awkward and tense here.
Yeah.
And then afterwards told another colleague of like I spoke to her about a project and she was like, yeah, no, I haven't read it yet. And then said to our colleague that she had thoughts. So I was like, okay, well, why didn't you say that to me?
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So interesting.
It is what it is. I think so much of what we do is so like, you spend so much time with someone and you go back and forth on documents and all, like, you need to vibe with each other to some extent. And sometimes you work with people that you think you're going to vibe with and then you actually get into the nitty gritty of it and it's like, oh, actually, I don't think...
No, it's not.
I don't think we're going to vibe.
No.
Like, I don't know why you took this so personally today. I don't know if you, like, you know, got on the train and it was really hot and now you're in a mood or whether you're just like this, but I don't like the vibe.
No, I think it's weird because I remember working with some people and being warned about them. So when I got to the opportunity where I had to like present to them and then they gave me that kind of like behaviour, like standoffish or quite blunt in feedback, I didn't feel any way about it and I didn't take it personally. And I remember I came out the meeting, like the marketing colleague who was with me, she was like, are you okay? Like I thought you were gonna like, I thought it was really blunt feedback you got on this project. And I was like, no, I was fine. Because, like, I've been pre-warned. It's not like I'm coming in shock, like, oh, this is how this person behaves. Or coming in, like, very naive and being like, oh, everyone's nice, everyone's hunky-dory. And then getting, like, this, like, whiplash with, like, rudeness or bluntness. And the person actually apologised afterwards. And I was just like, no, it wasn't, what you said wasn't wrong. Maybe the delivery wasn't the best, but I didn't take anything to heart. But I think if you understand people's vibes early on, it helps with not taking things to heart. Yeah, it was really interesting. The writer that I get on with really well, who it feels like the project has been plain sailing. Yesterday, she there was someone at the party that she recognised, and they'd done improv together. Okay. And then she was like, yeah, at the beginning of my career, I wrote stuff for me to perform in because that was the only way, like that felt like the cheapest way to like put it on. I was like, I think that probably is why you're so
sort of thick-skinned when it comes to notes and stuff, because if you've done improv, you've been in front of a crowd, like, you've had to put all of that, oh my god, everyone's gonna hate me, oh my god, I feel so insecure, stuff, like, to one side anyway, to go on stage and perform. And then the writer who I feel like, the other writer, I feel like the problem is she thinks she's this, like, confident, bold person, but actually when she's in a room with a lot of personalities, immediately gets defensive.
That's so interesting.
But I don't think she would know that. I don't think she would ever say that about herself. Yeah. You're not, like, she's not quite got to the end of that journey where she's like, oh yeah, I think I need to think about how I behave or how I react to these things. And everybody needs to do that. I'm not saying, like, I've definitely had a moment where I've been like, why am I in such a mood about this? Like, oh, it's because it's like pushing a button that's like incredibly personal to me and has nothing to do with this. And then I have to be like, they didn't mean to do that. Like, they haven't been studying me and be like, oh, this is going to really wind her up. Like, they're just being themselves. It just so happens that I've got my thing that is like the exact opposite of that. But I think the only way you can survive in industries like this is if you know yourself pretty well.
100%. And just like, there's a level of taking things personal and not. Because if you took everything personal, you will have such a high level of anxiety. You will be very, very self-conscious, and it will only be detrimental to you and your work, because you'll always be having like this second guessing of like, am I doing the right thing, or this person doesn't like me, and I've seen it. I've noticed times when I'm putting some creative together and I'm ready in the back of my mind thinking what someone else will say, and I'm ready feeling like, oh my goodness, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I not? And it, like, honestly, you have to know yourself and be like, I'm gonna stand by this and I know how I'm gonna defend it, and it's who I am, and this is, you have to give yourself some pep talks in this industry. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's super hard, and like the higher up you go, the more decisions sort of are left at your door, and suddenly you're like, right, the anxiety I'm feeling is, if this goes well, brilliant. If this goes badly, I made the decision to do this. So you're like constantly second guessing the decision because you're like, I want to get it right. I want to get it right. Like, I don't want to be the person who fucks this up. But you won't know what's right till you try it.
Very true.
And sometimes you just have to be like, yeah, this is an experiment, and I hope
for the best.
Literally. And if it flops, I'll be like, do you know what, guys? We tried it.
It didn't work.
Let's go back to what it was
let's take this learning, apply that learning, and let's keep on moving.
Exactly. Like,
honestly,
nobody's died. Maybe some money has been spent. Oh well, nothing
as
to
we
do
said,
about that.
this is PR, not ER.
Literally. Yeah. There's the word hospital was not in creative.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not the same as hospitality.
Like the bear said, like hospitals. God, that's just, that line was ridiculous.
The word create is barely in creative. So let's just...
Honestly, when you get higher up, you realise it's less about creativity and it's more about politics.
Literally.
Like,
and money.
And money. When you realise that the industries just blend so closely to politics, finance, and... I don't know, just those two industries, you realise... Law, it's got nothing to do with creativity anymore. That's the people that are coming in, they're the ones that are having the joy and the fun. Yeah. Like, honestly, because you're like, I can just create this fun idea, and, I mean, unfortunately your boss may take it, but, you have less of the worries because you can just come in, make some ideas, do a bit of admin. It's annoying, but, all jobs involve admin.
The junior employees at work are going to the cinema on Sunday. Oh. And one of them texted me and was like, hey, we're going to the cinema, do you want to come? And I was like, oh, I do not think it's a good idea for me to go to the cinema with the junior employee. I just feel like we're friendly and I love that for us. Yeah. But
we're not that friendly.
I don't think I should align myself with them. I think I need to start aligning myself with the people on
your level. It's hard when you're in middle management type of thing. That can be quite difficult because you're like, who am I supposed to buddy up with the seniors? I can't really with the juniors. That's kind of gone now.
No, I love we went to the pub quiz. It was fun. We all had a good time. But one thing that you always have to bear in mind is like, where they're your direct subordinates, if you get too friendly, suddenly you're asking them to do stuff and they're like LOL, you're like, it's not really an LOL, is it? I actually do need you to do this.
Yeah.
And I have to pull rank, and now it's going to be awkward because we're going to a cinema on Sunday. Like, no, you guys have your thing. It's nice. It's nice that there is enough of you that you guys can, like, form a little contingent, and, like, maybe these will be connections that in the future you're at different places, and you can be like, I'm going to go see my friend who works at this place. And be like, that's nice. I'm glad that you guys are building a community. I think I'm going to let you guys do that and not feel like, our aunt's coming with us on the trip.
I was gonna say, like, most of, like, the close friends I built with at work is when we were all in the trenches and lower levels. Like, that's how we connected, and you know, we shared our frustrations, we shared our joys, and as my career's changed and, like, developed over time, like, I felt you find it a little bit harder to make those connections on a higher level. I find it definitely not on the same, like, intensity as when I was starting out, but it's true because you kind of have to have a different, it has to be boundaries, honestly. Like, there's such a boundary you need to have
with
employee. You're such a boundary you need to have when you're friendly with your employees or direct subordinates or senior people, because there's multiple times during the day, during the month, whenever, where your dynamic has to move from personal to work. Yeah. Like, from friends to work. Yeah. Like, the same way, like, even I see it with my siblings. Like, there's sometimes when we're friends, actually when we're younger, like, we're friends, we chat, we chill. But there's other times when I have to pull rank and be like, no, I'm older than you and you have to go and do that now. Yeah. And they may not like me for it, but they're going to have to do it. It is what it is. So.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly that. Like, you're a sibling, rather not with, and you're also not a sibling. Like, I don't know. I just think if someone's got the power to hire or fire you, you guys should be friendly. But I'm not sure if you should be friends.
Yes, agree.
Because I just think, anything that happens in our personal lives now, could that affect? Like, I would hate that. Honestly. For my work to be contingent on whether or not you like me still as a friend.
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's why I don't date either anymore. That's why I wouldn't dip my company ink. I wouldn't dip my pen in the company ink, or have my ink dipped.
So dirty.
That was so wrong. It just gets messy when, or if the relationship doesn't work out.
I honestly think even when you're friends, like yesterday at the party, one of my colleagues, who I'm quite friendly with, he was just getting on my nerves. Yeah. I was like, I don't even want to have to go to this thing and like we're gonna have to do small talk. In the end, we didn't. Like, we were on like a place it was so busy that he was in one circle, I was in the other. But like, just that, it's like, what, this is annoying me. Yeah. It's not even about work. Yeah. So
I made closer friendships with people I worked with after I left the company, or they left the company. So that is like the best way to keep like good friendships from work is when you're not working together. Yeah. And to get secrets and gossip. Yeah, exactly. It's always about the gossip.
It's always about the gossip.
And the way I found out things after I left certain companies about people, and I'm like, huh? Yeah. I was there for 3 years. What happened?
I found out some gossip recently, and then yesterday I accidentally shared the gossip with one person. So I am learning my lesson about the gossip. Sometimes you keep it to yourself. Yeah. Sometimes keep it to yourself.
The good thing is there was one.
But gossip is supposed to be shared.
I know, but I remember like definitely when I was at one of the companies, I knew people, but during the pandemic, like you don't have the water cooler moments. You're not dropping by people's desks. So I would find out things, and people were like, "Don't tell anyone," and I'm like, "Who am I gonna tell? Who am I gonna tell?" Like, I'm not dropping like one-to-ones voluntarily with people. So it's not like that's gonna happen. And also, even if I'm tight with you, I still like to keep things like, if you told me to tell anyone, I do like to keep it confidential. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it can make me alive, I don't want to feel extra guilty for telling people.
Yeah. I'll tell the story off air, but like I honestly thought completely harmless, and then somehow but now I feel like it's because the person who told me the gossip wasn't maybe 100% clear, and then anyway, I should just keep my big mouth shut. But it made me think of, in my old job at one point, I had become so good at sort of playing the game that I was like, being told a version of events from one person, getting another version of events from another person, knowing that they don't know the opposite, but I'm the one that knows everything, and being like, and I'm gonna keep that to myself.
But you said, you know all the information like last week.
Yeah, I do.
You know.
I'll get to the bottom of it.
All the info.
I'll get to the bottom of it.
The
same with putting the furniture together. I will get to the bottom of this. If something scratches my brain, I'm gonna be like, I will find out what's going on here.
Usually I can get a hunch that something's off, and then I'm not too much into the investigation. But if the opportunity arises, then I will, just try to scratch that itch a little bit. But I'll wait until someone tells me themselves. I will prefer if someone, if you had a big secret, I prefer if you relate information to me than me going, what is going on?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not the person going up to people like, so what happened? That's not my energy at all. But at the same time, I will manipulate this conversation to go into this territory. And if you're willing to then share, it's not me. I didn't ask you a single question.
I just give you the environment so you can share.
I was just like, isn't Paris so nice? I've always wanted to go to Paris. What happened on that trip?
It actually finished.
But
then also you may have just a very honest face. Like we talked about this. Like I feel, because I've seen it on many occasions, where I have an honest demeanour that people are just willing to confess their life stories to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's my kind nature, my kind-spirited nature.
I personally wouldn't tell you anything.
That's a lie, you told me stuff.
No, if I didn't know you. Like if I just saw earrings, I'd be like, I don't trust that girl.
For real?
I told you when I first met you.
Yeah, you thought I was a bully, but I'm telling you now. When I tell you, bare people have told me their life stories.
People like to talk.
No, but I create a very grass environment for you to do so.
No,
I'm actually kidding. It's
very aggressive the way she said that to me as well.
No, you make me aggressive, but other people I am sweet.
It's my fault.
I'm sweet and kind. I'm sweet and kind to like most people, so they just feel like, look at this, honest soul with her beautiful big eyes and big cheeks.
I'm just really good at acting like I don't know something.
Yeah.
That's why people tend to tell me stuff. They'll be like, you know about X, right? I'll be like, no.
Yeah. No.
And they'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you idiot. This is going in my notebook for more investigation later.
God.
Literally, I want to say almost a month ago, we do this team lunch thing, and at team lunch, I was talking to someone else, and I heard someone mention my name.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear what they were talking about. And every day I'm just waiting for the opportunity to be like, what was he talking about when he mentioned me? It can't have been a bad thing, because you wouldn't do that with me at the table.
And also he would have been like your names and hush hush voices and like looking at you then looking away. Like it would have been, there'd be a certain behaviour.
Oh no, they were like, and then Marnie.
Yeah.
But they were like further down the table, so I couldn't hear what I'd apparently done.
Yeah, interesting.
But I was like, I'm very curious, because there is no reason for that person to have a story where I'm
My name should not be in your mouth.
Yeah, and I'm not in it. I actually tried very hard to not be in it. So why am I in it?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I'm just waiting for an opportunity. I'll never forget. I won't forget it.
No.
And now I know what will happen. I'll mention it now. People are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but on that day at 12 p.m. when we were eating
Let me set the scene for you.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I think he said something vague. I was like, no, don't be vague.
I'm finished.
Don't be vague, hun. Tell me the truth. And recently that person owes me a favour, so...
Okay, look, you can get a leverage on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
Gossip.
Yeah, gossip, yeah. We're now moving on to pop culture news.
Pop culture news, good eggs and bad eggs.
Yeah. Good eggs is happy birthday Beyonce.
Happy birthday Beyonce.
Same birthday as my grandmum.
Happy birthday to your grandma.
So yeah. It also makes it very easy to remember birthdays.
Scorpio babies.
I don't even do horoscopes.
Is it? Yeah, she's a Scorpio.
Isn't she Virgo? Wasn't she singing about the Virgos?
I don't know. Honestly, this side of the year, I don't know anything about it.
Fam, I don't know it on any side of the year.
I know the ones either side of me.
I know.
So Pisces, Aries, Taurus.
Cool. I know.
Leo season. My sister is Leo.
Okay.
Late July, early August.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
I know that.
Oh, Gemini, June.
Okay, look, you're telling me more stuff than I knew.
These are just because these are my friends.
Okay, so what am I?
Capricorn.
Oh crap! Yeah, you know.
Because I read it and I was like, this doesn't sound like her at all.
I've skimmed through a couple of days and they're like, maybe.
But I feel like
mine... Talk a lot about stubbornness, and I'm like...
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah.
I feel like mine is actually quite accurate as to two other people who are also Aries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
Elijah and Tavi.
They're both?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Late March to end of or halfway through April, I think.
With Tavi. There are some similarities in your
hothead, spicy.
Yeah, in your personalities.
Independent.
Yeah, but the independence I think goes.
Bitchy resting face.
Yeah, that's really consistent. I would say the independence I think is just consistent with all of us. It was Beyonce's birthday. Just continuing her Renaissance tour. She had a Bay Day concert in LA. Diana Ross sang Happy Birthday to her. She had some new outfits.
Incredible. Diana Ross came and sang Happy Birthday.
Yeah. It's
what a time to be alive.
Wild, yeah. And then I think it was a surprise because she like ran up to the stage and gave Diana Ross a massive hug.
That's a nice surprise.
I'm actually
who do you think arranged it?
Her people.
Jay-Z?
No.
Damn.
I went on TikTok down this deep dive of like blind items. I'm telling you, Jay-Z is messy. If allegedly any of these things allegedly are true, allegedly. This guy just spreading it wide and round.
I don't know.
I mean, we already know he had cheated because Beyonce she's referenced it in her songs.
She made an entire album about it.
Yeah, she did. Without saying it. But, like, the inference is strong.
Yeah, the inference is very strong.
But...
They don't love you like I love you.
But yeah, I don't know. And there's a compilation that I keep on seeing on TikTok where she's singing, I can't remember what song. And every now and again, she's looking at the camera going, you messed all of this up for me? And then she looks at the camera like, look at me. How can you cheat on me?
Irreplaceable is about Jay-Z.
Yeah, it should be, yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, she had an amazing birthday. I'm sure Jay-Z surprised her with something fun.
Where are the other children?
I don't even know. That's a big question because
Where are they?
Beyonce's mum is at the tour.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's at the tour. Blue Ivy's on the tour.
Where are Rumi and Sir?
I mean, they're 6 years old. So
where are they?
Babysitters.
Okay.
It's wild. Backstage.
Just reading books.
Yeah.
With like massive headphones on.
For 2.5 hours, like, Mom, but you keep on coming in and changing and then walking out again. Coming in and changing and then walking back out again.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. They must have like a big security people on staff.
Yeah.
But
sure.
There have been videos and pictures of Rumi in the audience, but it's not often. It's quite loud for 6-year-olds.
I don't know what they look like.
Jay-Z.
I genuinely don't think I've seen those children since.
One of the kids look like a mix of the two, but it's still heavy on the Jay-Z side.
Listen, you got strong genes, you got strong genes.
And they push through.
You got strong genes.
Like I would say Blue Ivy, she's definitely looking more like Beyonce as she grows older.
That makes sense.
Which I think happens. Like,
listen, I remember there was a trend on TikTok which was like firstborn daughters all look exactly like their dads. And there was like a bunch of people who like post a picture of themselves, post a picture of their dad. Don't know if you can beat the allegations.
No, you can't, because I'm part of that allegation too. I fall right into it.
I'm not beating it. I'm not an example to beat the allegations either, because I look exactly like my dad.
Yeah. Actually, I would say as I've grown older, I feel like I look more like my mum. When I feel more feminine, but I feel like I do. And I've seen, like, there's pictures when you do look like her.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I don't. Yeah. I feel like I do look like a mix of both of them. But like my sister looks a lot like my mum.
Yeah, my sister looks a lot like my mum.
Yeah, and I look probably less so, or maybe it's just less so. It feels less so because it's like your dad's face, but like your mum's features. So it gets sort of like takes you a while to figure out. You think it's all it's all him, and then you're like, hold on a second, those eyes or your ears.
Yeah, that's true.
And also because me and my sister look alike to some look alike to some extent, so we must have shared things in common. So who knows?
That's true.
Who knows?
But yeah, I remember there was like my sister took a picture of my dad, like old passport, and he must have been in his 20s, and she put it on our like siblings chat, and she's like, who does this look like? And I looked at it and I was like, that looks exactly like me. And then my brother was like, that looks exactly like me too. I'm like, this is odd. We can't be both claiming this. But he did. I mean, it was almost a jump scare moment because he looked so young and like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember one time my dad just sent me a bunch of baby pictures, like not baby pictures, but like pictures of him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, put hair on this. It is literally me. It's me now, which is weird. Again, I have a picture of me from like when I was like 6 as well.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, it's uncanny.
Same, yeah, it's just crazy.
It's so weird to think that you could have a baby and like one day you're just looking at this person like I'm looking at myself.
Yeah. But I think that's also like the nice thing as well.
I'm no spooky.
No, I always wonder like what features would my children inherit from me. I hope they get my big cheeks.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Nothing else.
No.
There's nothing else useful here.
There's big cheeks and big smiles and big eyes.
I hope that my children inherit my style, my verbosity.
So done.
I hope they will really like to read.
But you can train that in your child.
And I hope they inherently like to read.
But just surround them with books.
And I hope they inherit the musicality that runs in my family that I don't have.
So interesting.
But it's somewhere in there.
Okay. Talk of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Last week you said the good egg was jungle.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up going into, not a massive deep dive, but I researched the video you talked about, which I thought was really done well.
Yeah.
Like, it's an incredible video. And also some of the music, and I thought it was very cool.
It is. It's really cool.
It's like
cool
a
summer,
vibe.
Rooftop.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of drinks.
It's not like
boogie.
Yeah, it's not like one of those things that I'm gonna go to a concert and like say the same song. Oh, sorry. It's not like I'm gonna go to the concert and start like singing out loud their songs because it's not that kind of vibe. But it's a real less like chill vibe.
I would go see them live because I think it would just be like a good hour and a half of
like vibing,
wiggling around, and then being like, that was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, rooftop, like a rooftop bar vibe. Like, you know, you're just chatting and having a good time. That music's on, the sun is out. Basically for this week.
Yeah.
Is a this week type of music.
It is a this week type of music.
But yeah, it was pretty nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because when I was on my way here, I was listening to them and I was like, I forgot to send you the video.
I know, I googled it afterwards because I was like, and I just put like a very random, but I just put jungle dance video, and then it came up and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then it looks like they've got like a whole like series of videos about it looks like they shot everything on like one day and they just like spliced and diced.
Yeah, it's the same dancers, I think. And then so I had the choreographers had posted on TikTok the early rehearsals of the dance.
Okay, cool.
And I'd followed them.
Yeah.
And then like weeks later I saw the video and I was like, haven't I seen this dance before? And I was like, oh, okay. And then like some people have been attempting it and I was like, yeah, maybe I will learn this. I think I could do this. How hard could it be?
It was.
I think actually the thing about dancing that I always forget is you have to do this for 3 minutes straight.
Oh yeah, consistently.
It's not even, I can't learn the moves. You'll learn the moves. The thing is, can you do this from start to finish without wanting to stop?
I'm remembering every single move.
Remembering every move, not wanting to be like, I'm tired about breath.
No, just consistently. Is that video was in my TikTok as well as on my mama from Victoria Monet.
Yeah, that's been everywhere.
That has been everywhere. And also the one with the choreographer in the background saying, go on, yeah girl, you can do it, fly the plane. I'm like, yeah, you know what, everyone needs a hype man. Everyone needs a hype man in life. Yeah. Because that is as iconic as the music video itself.
Yeah, I love how the choreographers would be like, bap, 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 bap. And you're supposed to know what that means in terms of moves. That just sounds.
Because that's the sound, because also I'm not even dancing to that same beats.
Like, choo, choo, choo,
cow, pow. No, my favourite one is like, fly the plane. I'm like,
that was, pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but still.
You gotta fly a plane.
But still.
But when they're just sounds, I'm like, there's this great series on TikTok where someone will be like, hey, give me a do bat bow, and then they'll do it, and then the dancers will do moves that go with the sounds. I was like, yeah, maybe they do just now know.
Because you dance to a rhythm.
Like, I know, but like two specific sounds. So I'm like, give me a yow. Where would that be? Like every single one is different. And you're looking at these people like, no, that's exactly the move for that sound. How did you know?
It's true.
That to do that. How did you know to do that?
That's true. I always feel like if I had to give feedback on music versus artwork or creative, I would do it in that way. I haven't done feedback on music, like a music piece of art I don't think I've done it.
Piece of art.
Like a music video or music trailer. I haven't done that, but if I was, I'll be like, now I want you to go boom, 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 pow, boom, boom. I'll be doing it like that because I don't know what else. I'm not gonna give you the notes. I don't know the notes. I'm not gonna get my drum kit out and start drumming for you.
I might get my drum kit out. I've never done this before, but it's this.
Bish, bash.
Yeah. We need something like that. Something like that. I just watched a video of Timbaland talking about how he made the beat for Genuine's Pony. And like, he can make the sound.
What, in his own voice, yeah.
But that's not what the sound, what the sound sounds like.
Yeah.
But he's like, and I made it with this rack or whatever. Like, it was made with an instrument.
Yeah.
But even as soon as he said the sound, I was like, I know what song this is. He hadn't even said what the song was, but as soon as he said it, I was like, that is... Genuine. Yeah, that's Pony.
That's so interesting.
That is, you have a gift for something like that. You do.
Like, I remember in the, like, watching some old videos of Michael Jackson, I think when he was recording Thriller, and he was, like, telling the musicians of what they need to play, and he would be like, now I want you to do, or something stupid. I mean, he's doing it in his voice of what he wanted the sound to be.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was very incredible, because he knows every single instrument, what they should be playing, and for it all to come together, and that takes for you to understand how each instrument works and how each layer works and how they all come together. Music is fun, but it's hard. Like the creative industry, whether you're in writing, whether you're in artwork, whether you're in, art, AV, music, it's hard. It's a process.
Yeah, and
life is a process.
You just develop a shorthand.
Yeah.
That, like, when you start talking to people that don't do it,
goodness me.
They just stare at you blankly. Yeah. This week I've been like, for one of our projects, I pulled all of the conflicts that we're setting up in the episode. And I was like, right, so as you can see, we don't resolve X, Y, and Z. And they're like, first of all, why did you do this? As in, like, why have you done this? I was like, oh, it's because as you're reading the episode, we were thinking about how the episode ends. And I was like, the conclusion of the episode is the conclusion of the conflict, or the ratcheting up of the conflict. Yeah. And the person was like, staring at me blankly, and I'm like, okay, let me go back a step.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm so used to doing that, having that conversation with people who have a shorthand, like going, oh, they need to do X if we're going to get to Y.
Yeah.
And then the person you're talking to is like, but why? And you're like, oh, because in order to get to X, you need to Y. Imagine you're the audience. I think so many people forget that's who you're writing for.
Oh, yeah, sorry, because someone actually has to watch this later. Yeah.
If you are sat at home, and I'm telling you that I'm just narrating this story to you, is at the exact point that I'm saying we need this, you will find yourself saying, but why didn't they do X?
Yeah.
Like, so we need to have a scene at this exact moment that answers that question, because you're just going to have it. I have it when I watch TV sometimes. Gets to a certain point and I'm like,
why?
Call the police.
So
that's the exact moment where usually someone will be like, our phones are dead. And you're like, okay.
I think that we're going to have a very similar conversation later on.
Yeah. You have those moments, and like, a well put in show will give you, will answer your questions before you even have them.
Yeah. Because also when you get to the whole thing of like, why can't you just pick up the phone and phone them? That's the end of your story. That's the end of the show. Because this show wouldn't exist or wouldn't need to happen. But anyway, bad eggs.
I have a mid-egg.
Go on.
And it's Joe Jonas.
Because
we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know something bad is coming.
Come in or come already?
No, it's coming.
Okay.
So basically, Joe Jonas is married to Sophie Turner,
from Game of Thrones.
Was in plays Sansa in Game of Thrones. Joe Jonas, of course, is a 1/3 of the Jonas Brothers. Well, technically 1/4, but Bonus Jonas isn't in the band.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Bonus Jonas.
Never forget about Bonus Jonas.
Oh yeah.
They are getting a divorce. They've been married for 4 years. They have 2 kids.
Yeah. The girl's 24.
Currently,
she's young. Let's just say that she's 20. Sorry, excuse me. She's 27.
I thought you said 23.
Well,
I
remember she got married when she was young. Like, she got married when she was 23 then. And they met when she was 20, they say 20. But it was very young. And in the space of 4 years, you have got married and had 2 kids.
2 kids, I noticed.
And by the time you're 27, and then you're getting divorced.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
No.
But what's really interesting, this is why I'm saying it's a mid-egg.
Yeah.
Joe Jonas's team have claimed that Joe has been doing the lion's share of taking care of the kids. Sophie likes to go out. And when I first read that, I was like, feels a bit like I don't know why, but that feels like information you shouldn't have shared with us.
No.
Why have you put this out if not to get ahead of whatever she's got on you?
True.
Right?
True. Yeah.
You're saying the reason you're making it seem like, well, Joe's had to divorce her because she doesn't take care of her kids, which I'm telling you is a nuts thing to put out about the wife of your wife. Like, oh, she'll take care of her kids.
All I hear is like she's partying loads. Yeah.
People have dug up interviews of the two of them, though, where they say that she's a homebody and she doesn't go out. So what's the truth?
Yeah, there's something in the middle.
Something is not quite adding up. The other thing that's crazy is he's on tour right now.
Yeah. So I'm like, how is he looking after the kids?
That was my question. That was exactly my question. Yeah. Like, I'm sure he could bring them with him, but for at least for a 4-hour chunk,
you're not there.
Where you're preparing, performing, and decompressing from performing, you are not with those kids. So who's with them?
Yeah. And Sophie's also others tours as well. Like, it's not like she's not there.
Yes.
Because we've seen her backstage or
on his Instagram. Barely any pictures of her recently. All tour stuff. On her Instagram, they were just on holiday in Italy. Yeah. So something has happened.
Yeah.
I think that it's going towards Joe Jonas is going to end up being the bad egg in this story. And that's why they tried to get ahead of it by being like, he's a great dad.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic dad, and she's a slob. He doesn't take care of her kids.
But then also, it just feels so messy, and especially like we've known Joe's.
You don't have to tell us why you're getting a divorce.
No, we don't. Absolutely, you don't at all. Because there's so many celebrities that do. They just say, you know, is irreconcilable differences.
We've decided to uncouple.
Uncouple, whatever. And we don't need to know or care. It's also really sad because, like, knowing the Jonas Brothers' origin story of them being, like, Christians and purity culture, it just doesn't feel... And I'm not painting them with the same brush or whatever, but I'm just saying it's just a surprise that this has become the case.
Is it a surprise?
No, not
Joe Jonas be outside.
You know, I mean, I know Joe Jonas was definitely probably the messiest of the three, but I'm just surprised that even if they were going to get a divorce, which is sad, but sometimes, you know, 50% of marriages end in divorce. But it's just sad how this is kind of rolled out. Like, it started off with the rumours. That's like last week. And then we got the confirmation this week. We got the Sophie Turner put an announcement on her socials. You know, it was announced that...
What did her announcement say?
I'm going to check it now.
I doubt it said that she was a bad mom.
No, I mean, of course not. I think it was just something like, you know, like most things, please respect our privacy type of thing. Statement from the two of us. After 4 wonderful years of marriage, we have mutually decided to amicably end our marriage. There are many speculative narratives as to why, but truly this is a united decision, and we sincerely hope that everyone can respect our wishes for privacy for us and our children. And that's all it was said. So it's just, you know, it is sad to see any relationship break down because it's a family, they've got 2 kids. Just crazy that 2 weeks ago there's a photo of, you know, him and her kissing.
Yeah, like, I mean, something is up. Perhaps, what if she's been partying a lot recently as a euphemism for, like, she needs to go to rehab?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Like, I just don't know why you would put that out there.
Yeah, just so odd.
And it's definitely from someone in Joe Jonas's PR team.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I'm finding it interesting that she's saying in her, oh, this is a joint statement, and we're saying that all of that speculation is just speculation. Yeah. But you put it out there, bro. So what's the vibe?
What's the deal? Like, I mean, I just hope that there's just healing in the family. Whatever happens, if they divorce, and let them divorce peacefully, and everyone do what they need to do. They're so young. And, you know, she's 27, he's 34. You know, it's just really sad that this has happened, but yeah, whatever the mess is, let them just deal with it privately. We do not need to know. Like, for the sake of your kids, sort that out between you guys.
Yeah,
and I hope you guys have a good clean up. Yeah, honestly. So that was a mid egg.
My bad egg of the week.
Yeah,
is a whole community.
Oh Jesus!
And the community is black people who can't make their minds up as to whether or not we should be protecting each other or letting each other die. So I think,
as a big community,
yeah, we need a summit or some sort of seminar or some sort of like, a summit where we all go and sit in Parliament across the world on a big Zoom. And we just say, can we make a decision as to whether we want to back each other or we're going it our separate ways? Because what we can't be doing is fighting on the internet over whether a woman deserved to be hit in the face with a brick because she didn't want to give a guy her number. Because I'm telling you, if I was a white woman, there wouldn't be a conversation about whether or not she deserved it.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, put that man in prison, he's disgusting, end of. We are the only community where violence is done to us by other members of our community, and then the community's like, well, maybe he had a point.
It's black on black crime, and
every day.
I know.
It's got to stop.
Yeah, no.
It's got to stop. And the amount of videos I saw of people having to explain why it's not a win to say, oh, I didn't know her, so why should I step in and protect her? If you saw someone, I just feel like, we've become so desensitized that you're really saying if you saw someone who needed help, you would not help them.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't help
them. That's
them.
what it's basically meaning. I mean, for context, there was a woman. A guy asked for her.
Trying to get her number. She said no.
Yeah.
He then picked up a brick or a rock and hit her in the face with it.
And there was...
She had to go to hospital.
Yeah, she had to go to hospital. There's other men around her.
Yeah.
She named them as black men. This happened in Houston, Texas. It's just disgraceful. And her face looks... Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
I know. Like, I don't know what shattered. And the fact that she's still alive and talking and she had the camera out and was saying, all these men out here looking at me and not helping. Like, she named and shamed them and disgraced them. One
of the guys posted a TikTok saying, oh, what was I supposed to do? Put my life on the line for her? I didn't do it and I wouldn't do it again.
Why did you come on the big internet to that?
I just don't get it. Like, you could have gone your entire life without anyone knowing you were there.
Yeah.
And now you've made it so that everybody knows you were there.
Yeah.
And they know that you feel like, oh, I will step in to protect someone who is my wife or my girl or my sister.
But anyone else needs to know.
And that's fine. But we need to collectively make that decision. Because I'm willing to risk my life for you, but you're not willing to risk your life for me. I'm looking a bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, we live in the world of like this individualistic like view. Like everyone is just thinking for themselves or become just very like selfish.
Yeah,
it's because we're encouraged to be like, think about yourself, put yourself first.
It's been ingrained. There is something I don't know. I would love to do like read more about this phenomena. But like, a colleague of mine has been. So we were going to put an event on to like a networking event for all the black producers that we know because we feel like we're better informed if we are connected because I know what is happening. Like if you're getting X or Y for your deal and someone's offering me less than that, I could be like, well, I know that the standard is X, you know,
100%,
that sort of thing. And one of my colleagues was like, I don't want to put it on anymore.
Why?
And I was like, why? He was like, because these people don't help us. So why should we help them?
It's hard.
And I was like, well, this is the thing. You can't help people with the intention of it coming back to you.
Transactional, yeah.
Because then you're not trying to help them, you're just trying to get something later on. Put that to one side. You're right, there is a lot of every man for themselves-ness. Does it exist in other communities? Probably. I don't know, I'm not a member of those communities. But what I think is problematic is because there are so few of us, it feels starker.
Yeah.
Like, I've introduced you to somebody that you wanted to meet.
Yeah.
I don't get a thank you.
Yeah.
I don't hear from you again.
Yeah.
Because all you wanted was that.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I see you out, it's weird now because I'm like, well, are we mates? Because we're not. It feels like you just used me, but at the same time, I need to just be sort of blanket supportive of the community.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's okay for people to behave like that? Like, what are the rules?
It's just hard now because there's such a level of expectation that you must, like, it's important to be kind and it's important to, like, help people and support black businesses, but people don't want to do that because there's that inherent selfishness, like, oh no, it's only about me, or they wouldn't help me if I was in that position.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is. I don't know why there's that. Is it a bit of pride? Is it a bit of, even jealousy as well? I don't even know now.
I think it does come, like, specifically when it comes to work stuff. I think it comes down to that idea that there can only be one.
Yeah.
Like, that is, and I think the sad thing about that is, as with a lot of things that are born out of, like, white supremacy, the group that's suppressed end up adopting the oppression and then perpetuating the oppression themselves. Yeah. So it's like, there can only be one. So what I'm going to do is take to give myself a leg up so I can be the one. Yeah. But there actually could be more than one. Yeah. If we all band together, there could actually be more than one. But we all need to band together. We can't have a rogue person who's going to be like, no, actually, I'm gonna take the opportunity for everybody else. But there is just no trust there, because in the back of our mind we're all thinking, are you in it for the community or are you in it for yourself? I don't know, maybe I don't trust you, and because I don't trust you, I'm gonna maybe just go off on my own, and it just, I don't know if it's something you can fix, or I don't know how you fix it. No. My thing was, why don't we just put the event on? And in my head, if one person makes a connection that day that goes on to help them, it's done. We've done our job. Yeah. We can't go into there with expectations that, like, we're gonna get X or this person's gonna get X or Y. Let's put it on. If it's useful, fantastic. If it's not, we don't put it on again. Yeah. But, like, if you want to see change, you have to be the change. Yeah. I didn't really think about that phrase that deeply, but now I'm like, instead of us sitting around being like, what are we going to do? How do we fix the community? And then doing nothing. Yeah. We can have a go at doing something. Yeah. And it's either going to make it worse or make it better. Those are the two options. Or make it the same. Like, no way. It's definitely not going to result in every single one of us getting our heads chopped off, which is probably the worst thing that could happen. Yeah. So if that's not going to happen, let's have a go. But you see stuff like this and you're like, why should I try and fix the wrongs that are in the world? The kids want to be messy, let the kids be messy, and let me mind my own business. Literally, let me mind my own business. Like, I don't even want to I'm sick of the fact that this is even something that we would need to talk about. No. Or the fact that you would need to... So often I have conversations with black men and they reveal so much toxicity that I'm like, the patience required... Yeah. To get us all on the same page. Honestly. I just don't have it anymore. So I think I'm just going to look for someone who is already okay. Yeah. I don't want to fix her upper. I don't want to be like, oh, in 10 years' time, after we've been together, we'll really open his eyes. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it. No. I don't want to do it just for you to turn around and cheat on me or kill me. What the hell? That's my payment for trying to do a good thing. I'm not trying to do a good deed. Gosh. When it comes to dating or people I surround myself with, I am going to be selfish, actually. And if the vibes are not matching, you gotta go. I'm not a therapist. It's not my job.
I do think that definitely my mindset around the people in my inner circles has changed. Especially, I think I was saying after turning 30, but like as I've grown like a little bit older, it's just been like, who gives me peace and who will help me protect the peace around me? And if you don't, then there is less energy that I will put in to maintain that friendship. Doesn't mean that if I don't see you down the street, I will ignore you. 100% I will, engage and say hi, and I always want to wish you well and make sure that you're well, you're good, your family's good. But to have you close in terms of a confidant in my inner circle is a no for me. Yeah. And that's when you start to really acknowledge, like, you don't need to have massive group of friends. No. Honestly.
The idea of it is,
I think when we're younger,
it's fun. Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, there's going to be 70 people at my party, because I know 70 people. But, like, if of the 70, 69 are crazy.
Why?
My colleague went to a stag do, and the first night in, one of his friends got beaten up by the security guards and he got punched in the face.
That's not a stag do I need to go to.
That's not an
event.
You shouldn't be afraid to leave your house.
Fam!
Because of knowing. And before they went on the trip, he was like, I'm a bit worried because one of my friends when he drinks does get quite aggressive.
No, it's a no.
At our big age, like we have a friend who had a very early on in her drinking career. Should I say it? Career's not the right word, but like very early on when we would go out and get drunk, she would get a bit leery. I'm
a bit confused. I think I know the person, but I may be wrong.
I've not seen her like that in a really, really long time. So that might have literally just been that period of time. Yeah. But if that had continued,
conversations would have needed to happen.
Oh yeah, I don't think the friendship would have lasted to where we're at now. No, and I would have been going out with you or going to anything where you were drinking, because that's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like I wouldn't want to like get rid of the friendship straight away because I value the friendship, but it's like we need to have an intervention. Things need to change, and if they don't, then we will have to restrict the way that we socialize together.
Yeah, and even I could admit that like there was a chunk of my life where every time we went out, every birthday, I would get so drunk I would need to be carried home. And at some point I was like, this isn't a fun experience for me. It's not a fun experience for my friends. I have to just be strict with myself. Yeah. Or not even, because strict makes it sound like I'm desperate to get to that level. Yeah. It's not that. It's just that like I think I could drink a lot more than I can.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. If I'm like 18 shots. Everyone else has done 18 shots. Why can't I do 18 shots? Money, you do not have the body fat for this. You just don't. This is going to hit your bloodstream like that. Yeah. There is no, like, I don't have that thing where it's like, it's slowly, over a period of time. Yeah. It's literally like, I'm fine, so I'll drink, and then I won't be fine. There is no middle ground.
I mean, because we've always seen, it's always been like, we turn around like, wait, what happened?
Literally. What? But that's how it feels for me even. I'll be like, yeah, we're all laughing. I'm going to go to sleep. And the minute I stand up, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it back from this bathroom. I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the bathroom. Yeah. Please call an ambulance. That's it. And so you just have to, and I just have to think about what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
And if I always know, all those times, it's always where it's got to that I've stopped counting, or I've stopped being like, should I have a glass of water now? I've just been like, we're all having a good vibe. Yeah. And look,
it happens.
Shoshana's had the same amount that I've had, so it's fine. Shoshana seems fine. I'm going to be fine. It's like, you're not going to be fine. I wouldn't call myself a lightweight. I honestly think, and I've been thinking about this recently, I don't think my body processes alcohol in like a good way. I don't know how your body does. I don't know how it works, because the whole point of alcohol is it's supposed to make you...
Oh, it's supposed to make you feel horrible.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, sometimes I think... Like, one time on Tuesday at the pub quiz, I had 3 glasses of wine.
Oh.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I went home and I had a headache immediately. I was just like, I don't know if it's an age thing.
I think
I don't know if it's because I don't drink like this anymore. Like at uni, I would drink 3 nights a week. So it would...
I mean, actually, I can't lie. Probably the same.
Yeah, so your tolerance is much higher.
Whereas now,
I either drink once a week, and again, it's a glass.
Yeah.
Or you have one night a month, or one night every 3 months, where you're like, we're going out, and then your body's like, why have you suddenly decided to drink 3 shots? Who do you think you are? I don't like this, and I don't know what it is. Yeah. Get that out of us now.
No, yeah.
So. Anyway, going back to what we were saying, if I had a friend that I thought was toxic or brought out toxic traits in me or themselves, at this point in my life, I just don't think that I would continue to enable that.
No.
So I don't want to bring people like that into my life right now.
I mean, that's where I think with age your BS radar or your red flag radar just gets higher. Or you just start to get the tolerance. You understand like, okay, this type of behaviour is a bit shifty. I can already see where this is going. I don't need this person in my life.
Yeah, and I think people also underestimate the fact that you have control over the people that you surround yourself with in the community that you belong to.
Very true.
And they're like, oh well, we've known each other since we was 8. So yeah, if that person has not grown, since then, you're allowed to be like, this doesn't work anymore. Yeah. And if we started holding people accountable, perhaps we would have less instances like this where something like that's somebody's brother or son or friend who did that. Who maybe came and saw them and bragged about it.
It's just...
Or came and saw them and said, oh my god, she's posted the picture. Like, how do you even have that in your head to be like, oh, if she says no to me, I'm going to beat the shit out of her? Two, I don't feel any guilt about this. I'm just going to continue with my life. Yeah, and I'm going to hope that what happens is other people in the community make her feel like it was her fault and she deserved it.
I mean, look, we don't know a lot about the person who threw the brick, but the mentality must be, there must be some level of hatred towards women for you to get out of your way, bend down, find the brick. Because bricks shouldn't be... Because bricks are not just like lying around. They should be in buildings. Find the brick and then say, I'm going to throw it, a heavy object, at this woman. I think, and I've been listening to some podcasts about incels or just discussions around it, and the mentality around it, and I feel like it's such a hidden... It's not hidden, but it's like that world is very dark. Yeah. And we only really see the ramifications of that when we come to see events like this, where a woman's getting a brick chucked in her face, or a couple. I think it was early this year, a woman was stabbed to death because she didn't give either her number or didn't really engage with the guy who was trying to chirp her. Like, we have to be just very mindful, and we have to protect ourselves, because there are a lot of crazy people out here. Yeah. And
I pride myself on not being approachable.
Same.
I pride myself on not being approachable now, because, you know, dating advice would be like, smile in public, or look at people, or go to a bar by yourself and hope that someone comes up to you. No, I don't want just anyone coming up to me. Because some people are crazy. How about I come up to you? How about that? Yeah. Anyway,
we're gonna move on.
Yeah. To pop. Hope that one is okay.
Yeah, we do hope that woman's okay, and I hope her face is, getting better, and whoever is the perpetrator, may they be found. Yeah. But yeah, we're now gonna move on and hijack pop culture news to move on to our...
I hate this. I hate this.
To move on to our review of the week. Hijack.
It sounds like we're saying, hi Jack.
Hi Jack, how are you doing? Hi Bobby, hi Ken, hi Jack.
Hi Jack. Hi Adrian.
So Hijack is an Apple TV Plus drama starring Idris Elba. It is about a man called Sam who boards this flight from Dubai to London called Kingdom 29. And while he's on that flight, the flight gets hijacked by a number of different... Let's be honest, they're called terrorists. Majority of them look like they're from the UK. They're British.
They're all British. The majority of them, they literally are all British.
They were all British. I thought everyone who was involved was British, including the perpetrator who was kind of like pulling all the strings from prison. And then there was another guy, also British.
The prison bit lost me, I'm not going to lie. I was like, I don't get how this fits in. But in the immediate danger is, this is a flight from Dubai to England, which has been hijacked by a group of terrorists who we are unsure what they want to begin with. They tie up some of the cabin crew. Yeah. And they enter the cockpit. Yeah. And they tell the pilot, don't tell anyone, but we've hijacked this flight, and you guys have to do what we're going to tell you to do.
Exactly. And over the course of 7 episodes...
Because it's a real-time flight.
Oh, yeah. We watch this plane get hijacked. We watch how people discover and suspicious on the ground. So whether that's in Dubai airport, all the different flighting zones that they fly over, including like Hungary, Budapest, and of course the UK. Yeah. And they all discover this flight has been hijacked. Sam is able to send some type of signal and also messages to his ex-wife and
his son, actually.
And his son and his ex-wife's partner who
happens to be a police officer.
And so he's able to get connections to I don't know, Secret Service or some type MI5, like some organization that is also able to then alert government that this has been hijacked. And basically over the course of 7 episodes, we see the plane being hijacked, we see them land on the ground in England, and then the perpetrators being brought to justice and or killed, depending on the fate. So that's the basic story. My my general thoughts, because I'm not even going to go episode by episode, because it's not that deep for me.
There are some really great twists.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people sitting down on the flight.
Yeah.
That's the series.
That's the series for me.
And the twists are mostly Idris Elba, who plays Sam, being absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. If I be honest, there's two things that came to my mind. Firstly, so Sam Nelson, his character, is a corporate negotiator who his job is to go to different businesses and negotiate on other parties' behalf and do deals. And so he's using his skill in negotiation to build alliances with the terrorists, to manipulate them to do certain things so that he can, one, in his own words, he just wants to be safe and get back home. Yeah. And I don't think he comes across like he doesn't really care about the other passengers, but deep down you can tell he does. But also there's also this element that is about him and he just wants to be safe, and
can they trust him?
Exactly.
Flight
staff. Attendants.
Yeah, I was going to say flight attendants, but what do you call people who are just on a flight?
Passengers.
Other passengers.
Yeah.
Can the other passengers trust him? Like, basically, who side is Sam on?
Exactly.
Is Sam on the terrorist side, Sam on the passenger side, or is Sam just on Sam's side?
And yeah, there's that kind of question between all those three elements, but at the end of the day, I found his character very annoying. So, when I say I found it frustrating, I just found it a bit baffling that this guy who's a corporate negotiator and has all the power in the world to be standing up when a terrorist has got a gun in your face and saying sit your ass down, he's like, no, but I'm going to tell you how we can do this together. I'm like, shut up, fam, you don't know everything. He's a whole know-it-all, and it was frustrating my mind.
So when you first meet Sam, he's buying a bracelet for someone. I think in the Dubai airport they say, oh, she's who's this for? And he says, my wife or something. When he gets on the plane, and then the flight attendant says, who's the lucky lady? And he says, lucky man. And
so
before I'd watched the episode, other people would watch the episode and they were like, Idris Elba is gay in this show.
Yes, that's what I thought, he was gay.
Yeah, what he meant, the point of that was, oh, lucky lady, no, I am a lucky man because I know that lady. That's what that's supposed to mean, not lucky man, I've got a man at home waiting for this. I thought, oh, that's a really lovely new
twist.
We've never seen Idris Elba play a gay man. He wasn't playing a gay man. Full disclosure, this is not LGBTQ friendly at all. There are no gay people on this show, I think. But
I'll be honest, when it comes to this type of show, I don't think it even matters if you're LGBT. I don't need someone camp to be like, yes, queen, fam, you get a hijack, sit down.
First of all, there are many different ways to be gay. It's not just high camp all day, every day. So check yourself.
I think they made the show interesting if that happens.
Also, I feel like we've never seen a gay terrorist before. I would like to see that. How is it different?
What's the difference? Yeah, but what is the difference?
I don't know. We've never seen it.
But why do we need? How do you know that one of those characters weren't gay? Like, why do we even need to know or care?
I'm saying, what I said was, we've never seen a gay terrorist. I'm not saying that it needed to be this show, but I'm just saying in general, we've never seen a gay terrorist. What would that be like? I'm putting it out there. Anyone who's a listener who writes, there's an idea for ya. But you soon learn that essentially, and it was a little bit confusing for me, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah. He is no longer with his wife. It seems like he hasn't been with his wife for a long time.
Yeah, because she's with a partner and they seem to be quite, kind of established.
Exactly. But he's bought her this bracelet, I'm assuming, to patch things up. I didn't get it. I didn't know if he was just bought her a bracelet because he just wanted to buy her a bracelet, or if he was thinking this will be the thing that will bend my marriage. Your wife has a whole boyfriend that lives with her, and don't think the bracelet is going to be the thing that makes her want to come back to you. Equally, though, the scene that you see of his wife and her partner, her son is very rude to him. In a way that made me think, is this the first time you ever met this guy? Yeah. Because if they're living together, is he doing this every morning? So basically what he does in the morning is he comes downstairs and the mum and the boyfriend are like, I don't know, canoodling, making breakfast. And they're like, oh, how was your day, whatever? And he was like, yeah, it was all right. And he has a Peloton bike which he rides. And the guy's like, hey, why do you always ride your Peloton bike? Why don't you go outside and ride your bike outside? And he's like, because people like you will probably shoot me. And I was like,
Jesus.
Chill out,
Not
first
for
of all.
breakfast.
It's not every day police officer try to kill black boy. Sometimes I'm just eating cereal. And also, are you saying this to him every single time you see him? Because
the way it came across, yeah.
And I was like, and then I couldn't get a read on how old he was supposed to be. Because if I'm being completely honest, I found that scene, I've had to pause.
Yeah.
Because I said, there is no way on God's green earth that a black woman has raised a child that would speak to her or her partner like that.
Very true.
My mum had boyfriends, and I can never, even at my big age now, imagine being like, have you shot any kids today? What the hell are you doing? I actually feel like, even though I'm 31, my mum was at me.
It's wild. It's wild.
Why are you being so disrespectful? I paused. I said, if my kid ever spoke to me or someone that I brought into the house like that, you'll be on timeout, sir. I don't give a heck if you're 28 or 12. You're going on timeout.
And the problem is you didn't know what age that kid was because he could have been either.
First of all, you're riding a Peloton bike that I probably paid for in my house, right? You don't get to tell another person whether or not they can be here or not. You are a lodger.
Yeah.
Right? Who doesn't pay rent. You're one day away from me kicking you out because you don't provide anything to me. You're here because you're my kid and I love you. Have some respect.
Yeah.
It irked me.
Really, to me,
It really irks me when I see someone, I'm like, this scene was so obviously written with no cultural
lens.
Exactly. And you've just gone, this is how white children would talk to white. We're not white. No, we don't do things like that.
I think it's a good point. Like, that scene would probably work with white on white crime.
I just can't imagine. Even if me and my mum were best friends, that I would ever talk to an adult like that.
Yeah.
Just because I love my dad.
Yeah.
First of all, maybe you should go away and think, what has happened here that your mum and dad aren't together?
And I didn't mention that either. That was really frustrating.
Because clearly some time has passed. It's not like she's cheating on the dad.
Yeah.
They're fully in a relationship. So why are you giving this guy a hard time?
But that's not explained. And perfectly honest, because it was so fleeting, and then you find out what happens towards the end, where the boyfriend really does come and save the boy's life. Because really, for all that rudeness, that boy could have been like, well, basically.
Yeah, but you're not going to let your partner's son die.
I mean, for context, basically, at one point, there are people who are trying to find Sam Nelson. The boy has gone to the father's house and was like in the house when these people came who were posing as like professional cleaners but actually had guns. And so the son tries to phone the partner, who he knows is a police officer, to come and help, and the guy came and helped. I mean, the way he intervened was incredible.
Yeah,
so
very clever.
Very, very clever to get everyone to be evacuated and then save the boy. But the thing is, for me, that scene just felt like everything was a bit flippant, and because episode 1, I was still trying to figure out the bearings. And my biggest question, like, with a lot of these like series that are staged and have this very single-minded premise, is like, how is this going to continue for 7 episodes? Because usually, and unfortunately, in the world we live in, once the plane is hijacked, it's done. Like, we have lived through 9/11. They reference 9/11 in the show. We know how finite that moment was. And actually, if you were going to do a series about it, which there have been many, a lot of the series would just be the aftermath after the plane's been hijacked. And then, the attack of where they're trying to land or crash that plane into. Anyway, throughout the course of I feel like I'm really giving the summary, but my biggest like gripe was actually Sam's character. I just found it very unrealistic, and I kept on thinking in the back of my mind, is he a corporate negotiator / spy? Like, I kept on thinking he must have some type of police organization backstory as to why he is so brave to be getting up out of his seat, so brave to try and like attack these terrorists. Like, there must be something about his character that we don't know, but it makes him almost a bit of a superhero, like given that kind of Jack Reacher or Liam Neeson or whatever character, where there's this like ordinary man but has loads of powers. Not powers, but like this immense strength that he can fight anyone, and that he's so smart he can manipulate people to do what he wants. I just kept on thinking that something was gonna like drop, and we're gonna understand who Sam was and why he had enemies, but that just never came to life. Honestly, I missed that episode.
I feel like they just said it. I think it was really simply set up that like he's got his kid, he's got his wife, he wants to repair this relationship, he needs to get back home in order to do that. That's literally it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about whether he was a spy. There's a great bit. This is the bit where I was like, oh, this show is goofy. Was at the end of the first episode, once the son is like, I think the plane's been hijacked, because his dad texts him like, things aren't looking good, I love you, something makes him nervous. Again, he doesn't actually say, my plane has been hijacked. He says something and the son's like, this is a code, this is a message, like something must have happened. And then everyone's like, chill out. He's like, no, you don't understand. He would never text me this, like, something must have happened. You don't understand his job. And then the mum's partner is like, what's his job? And there's this pause and the son like looks down, and then he looks up and he's like, he's a negotiator. And then the episode ended and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
Honestly, I remember that scene when that happened and I kept on thinking, okay.
I was with you. I thought they were going to say he's a spy.
In episode 2, we're going to get the backstory as to who he is and why he was targeted. Because in my head, I kept on thinking, he must be the target. Someone must be the target. Either him or the guy that around the very, very last minute was able to get on the flight. Because he was late and then Sam was like, let him on. Like something must...
Well, he was part of it.
He was part of it, but still, it's just... that part felt like it kind of let me down in terms of what was the stakes.
No, I just think that like once that happened and I realised this show's goofy, I actually was like, I think that the point of this show is to watch the twists and turns and be like, how are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the characters because they're not going to be memorable.
No.
Don't worry about the emotional heart of this because there isn't really one. It is simply a show about survival and people doing very clever things to get out of trouble, right? We're on this plane. I think the other thing that's interesting is the terrorists don't want to smash up the plane. That's not what they want to do.
Because they've all got false bullets, so the guns aren't real.
Exactly, which you will also learn later on. Like the threat, and I think the reason why he's able to get into their heads is that they've been told to hold up this plane, to hijack the plane. But the plan has always been, on the other end, someone will pay money to their boss, and then they'll land the plane.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. They want to tank the shares of the company.
So they can get money.
And the shares will be tanked if people find out there's a hijack. So they just need to hijack the plane for long enough that this becomes national news. The shares and stocks go down, and then they can sell or buy or whatever it is that they want to do and flee out the country. It's stupid.
It's stupid.
And once you know it's stupid, you're like, okay, the end result doesn't matter. Yeah. None of that stuff matters. All that matters is how is Idris Elba going to come up with a new plan every single time? And I genuinely was entertained by every plan and whether it failed or whether it worked. Like, I loved them communicating on the game.
Yeah, that was cool.
To each other. I loved the carton,
the milk carton.
Yes, I love the milk carton bit. I love the conversation they have when the old man. So there's an old man who doesn't speak English, but there's a girl who can translate, and basically the old man says they don't have bullets in their guns. Yeah. Right. That's not what a bullet looks like. Yeah. That is a spent casing or something, and that's how they realise these people don't have weapons. Right. Yeah. And if they don't have weapons, we can probably take them physically. Yeah,
because 200 people versus
6 people.
Yeah, 6 at most, and then one had died already.
Yeah. So every episode, it felt like, oh, these people might actually do it, which you kind of want. Like, you don't want the terrorists to win. The terrorists you don't know anything about. Yeah. They're not interesting. No. So you're like, let Idris Elba win. I want Idris Elba to win.
No, of course. Like, there's definitely some moments of like tension. Like, oh my goodness, are they gonna get caught? Especially when they were doing a lot of like messaging between the passengers. But you're right, it was goofy, it was a bit far-fetched. Even when we started to sense the danger in the plane with there was a group of girls who one girl found a bullet in the toilet. And that was wild, because if I seen that object in the toilet was actually picked up, I would have thought it was like a battery. Like, there was no way my head would be like, oh, look at this weird thing I found. Like, it wouldn't give me bullet straight away.
I think it looked like a bullet, but I think what I found weird is that you wouldn't immediately just go up to a flight attendant and be like, I found a bullet.
Yeah, true.
It's a bullet.
Yeah, I found this object, but you went to some random guy or passenger.
But I loved the fake out of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up to the front and tell her, and then he goes up to the front and you find out he's one of the terrorists going, we've got to do it now because these kids have found the bullet. Yeah. I loved, like, because I decided after he's a negotiator bit to turn my brain off, I was able to just be like, wow. Oh, wow. Every time I did something, I was like, ooh. And honestly, the twist where, so basically, it seems like Idris Elba and the passengers are winning. Yeah. They've disarmed a bunch of terrorists now. Yeah. Right? The co-pilot has managed to communicate to the ground that they've been hijacked. We might make it. Yeah. And then one of the passengers just stands up, walks up to the pilot and blows his head off. Jesus. And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, and everybody is confused, including the terrorist. And she goes into the cockpit and she locks herself in there. And you find out that she is now like a third party terrorist. Like, she doesn't work with the guys that are on the plane, but she has been ordered to take over should they fail. Yeah. And they've got her daughter hostage somewhere. She's got to get home. Like, that's all it is. It's like, it's the stakes for everyone on the plane is you might lose your family. Yeah. Either you die or family member dies.
I mean, that's when that happened. It took the story a bit long. It took the story further because we were getting to, like, I think that was episode 4 or 5, and I was like,
I think it was like 6 or I think it was 6.
It was close to the end. But I was kind of thinking, like, unless this plane crashes, where is this story going? I kept on getting that, and that goes and really leads to my first question, because I realised I have two. Hijack initially was actually released on a weekly basis on Apple TV. Would you have watched
I know a lot of people who did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally didn't watch it on a weekly basis because after the first episode, was like, I'm good. But I heard a lot of people talking about it. Yeah. And by the time I went back to it, all of the episodes had been released. So I got to binge watch the whole thing. Yeah. But I probably feel like after that bit where she shoots a pilot, I genuinely would be like, no, I need to know how this ends.
Yeah, same. The thing is, that took a bit of time. There was a couple of episodes mid-season that was quite hooky, especially at the end. I think maybe 3 or 4 it got a bit more like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen next? But I'll be honest, it's very unlikely I would have come in on a week by week basis. Like, I'm grateful that I watched it all together because of, like, the pod, and I've heard about it, and the trailer looks really good, and there are a lot of stories that lean into pretty much a fear unlocked from a lot of people, like flying. You have things like Manifest, you have things like Lost, which is not necessarily on a plane because they're lost. But this probably leads on to my other big point about the show, is that this story felt very small. Like, it didn't feel large. It didn't, like, Manifest, I don't know how the hell they've been able to do it for 4
Because isn't Manifest about that they...
Oh, they came on flashbacks?
Yeah. And also, isn't it about, like, there's like a fantastical element to it. What happened to them on the plane? Where did the plane go? And how did all of them survive?
There's that. Yeah.
The idea is, like, I don't know, like, they've flown into the Bermuda Triangle, disappear, and then for them, no time has passed, but suddenly they come back and 5 years have passed, type thing. Rather than, their plane got hijacked.
Yeah, there's that, but I think anything that's got to do with planes always has this, like, heightened sense of anxiety because of things like 9/11 and things that we have seen in real time, in real life, around hijacked planes. And so when you see a story where, like, it's 7 hours, and that most of the time, if you behaved yourself, you would just sit there. You could have fallen asleep and not realize what happened.
Well, no, because they don't.
I mean, apart from when they had to, like, land, and that was on Swift. I thought that the plane was gonna blow up after they landed because it was that rocky.
The landing is crazy. You don't know if they're gonna make it. Yeah. I think the other thing is, we know as the audience more information than a lot of those passengers know. So the anxiety won't go away because they don't say to them, "Oh, don't worry, we're not going to kill any of you. We just need to keep this plane circling for 8 hours." Like, it's not that at all. So they don't know. They're in a state of anxiety for the entire trip. And it's about one flight. But I feel like the reason why it didn't feel small to me is because you've got stuff happening on the ground. Yeah. These terrorists seem to have incredible reach. Like, they go to Sam's literal house. Yeah. They kill the woman who works in customs in Dubai. They kill the guy who works in air traffic control simply because he came and knocked on the door to find out what happened to her.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the people in flight control in the UK. The woman who's like, no, something is up. Everyone's like, no, there isn't. Then it turns out that it is. And she's like, please let me land. Like, let me take care of this. Like, this is what we've been training for. Like, it felt to me like, oh, and you've got, you know, Parliament just going back and forth about whether or not to tell the Prime Minister, which was just like, of course. Like, so it felt...
There was different storylines.
Like, it felt big, but it's obviously, it's set almost entirely on the plane. So you are just in the plane, and like, it's very hard to tell a story that's in one setting that continues to keep you on your toes. And I think, honestly, depth and emotional stakes and characters aside, because all the characters are very thinly drawn, but it's because it's an action.
Yeah.
And I feel like what it does manage to do is come up with twists that you won't see coming. Yeah,
I do agree that there was definitely some interesting twists, and there was some action, but I just, because we are so used to seeing like fast-paced, high-octane type of action from an action show, I'm not talking necessarily on a plane, but you're used to that type of level of pace. I think at times it felt a little slow, and therefore, even though there were so many different worlds and so many different locations that the series tapped into, such as Parliament and their flight zones, it still felt like quite a small contained story. And I think it's also the fact, and with the plane, and I think there's a similar kind of like critique around Speed 2, which is a film with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, and the sequel was based on a boat in comparison to the original film that was based in a high octane chase in a car, I think. Bus. The coach, bus. But like, I just felt like it missed that type of pace, especially at the beginning where it's like, this is getting hijacked and it's for real. And maybe it's because it just, like, the terrorists were doing cosplay. Like, it wasn't real. But that's what was missing for me. For me to be super gripped, I just felt like it needed more action, a bit more pace. It was definitely peril, but it just needed more, and that's why it felt a bit small. And that's why it was so easy to watch, because I just didn't feel like... I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're being hijacked. Like, and it's... If it happened in real life, it would be a very, very different story. But that was my other second question to you.
What is it? If it happened in real life, it would be a different story?
No, we talked about it in a previous pod where... Or maybe just in, like, off air, that you haven't flown since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Having watched Hijack, has that changed your perspective about flying? Would you be more?
Weirdly,
would you feel
no.
more afraid or less afraid? And I think that's a big thing.
Weirdly, no, but I don't think that was the aim. I think the show actually worked very hard not to create a scenario that would happen to you.
Yeah.
Right? Your fear when you go, oh, this is a plane, you read the premise, so it's about a plane that gets hijacked. You're thinking, oh, it's going to be terrorists from a Muslim country that are trying to...
Yeah.
And it actually immediately does away with all of that. Like, okay, they're getting on a flight in Dubai, you're like, oh, God, it's going to be Middle Eastern people. And it's like, it's not, actually, it's Brits. And I was like, I like this. And I think this is the only way that this show could have got made for Apple, is that it said... Imagine a hijack, right? That's not political in any way, as in like for the viewer watching it being like, oh, here we go again, making brown people the villains.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's literally a fantasy of a hijack. It's just an opportunity for this man to be incredible. And so I didn't watch it going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this could happen to me. Because I felt like that's not what it was. It's so heightened. I don't think it's supposed to feel like it is a thing that could happen to you. Like, literally, the terrorists work for a crime family where the patriarch is in prison and has concocted this very detailed, stupid idea.
I'm telling you.
Just so he can get out of prison and the police won't follow him. That is it. So of course, and I feel like they probably spent a lot of time trying to workshop what could be behind these terrorists that isn't religion or genuine politics, and it's just something that's small, that these people happen to be on this flight at this time when they want to orchestrate this escape, and that's it. I mean, the two kingpins end up, one of them gets killed because he doesn't want to do the plan anymore, or he wants to sell the money, or he's like, just let's go, let's just wrap it up, let them land, I don't care about this anymore. Like I think it was deliberately small so that it wouldn't just end up playing into stereotypes. And also, I'm sure the pitch was Idris Elba saves a bunch of people. And you can put it anywhere.
That's Luther. Luther in the sky.
It is. And I wonder if they do multiple seasons, it will just be Idris Elba on a boat, Idris Elba in a building, Idris Elba at a jungle gym, Idris Elba. Like, you just put it anywhere.
It's true.
And pick a villain that's just like, again, in it for themselves, not in it for, like, I'm not trying to save the world, I'm not trying to prove a point, I'm not trying to be like, this is for the Holocaust. It is just completely motivated by, I would like to cause some trouble right now. That's what I would like to do. And I think that's what made it really easy to watch as well, because you are genuinely just like, okay, so why are these, what do these people want? Like, it's, what's scary is that, like, if someone stands up and says, I'm doing this in the name of my God or in the name of my country, you're like, right, okay. There's nothing I can do as a passenger, because you have a mentality and a doctrine and a belief that, like, is unshakable. But if someone stands up and they're saying it because I'm doing this because this guy paid me to do it, there is actually, maybe we could stop this. You're just a person, I'm just a person, you don't really want to kill me. You're doing it because someone's threatened to kill you, but what if we all work together and we stop that? Like, I don't know. I thought it was surprisingly entertaining for what it is, because I don't really watch a lot of action shows.
No, neither do I.
And it's not something I would ever pick, just as if I was scrolling through TV.
Idris was definitely the draw. Like, there's no doubt about it. He is. I get your perspective. I do understand. I think for me, when I was seeing the genre in terms of it being action, and you have Idris Elba, who we've known from, like, the world of Luther, I just was feeling like...
But Luther's not...
No, I think Luther's wrong. What I'm just saying is, like, you have Idris Elba, the trailer was given me, like, you know, he's about to take over... He's about to take over the world. He's about to save all these passengers against these hijackers. So it really heightened the stakes. I just don't think the show itself lived up to it, because it took more of an approach of, like, the mental aspect in terms of the way he attacked and how he approached the terrorists versus him, like, jumping on them, which he did a few times, but just not as... It wasn't constant. In the comparison to American dramas, where we would expect that to be a bit more hard-hitting, constant, quite pacey. I just don't think we got it as much with this title.
I think that making the comparison to even a Jack Reacher, it's like Jack Reacher doesn't take place on a plane for 8 episodes. So realistically, Idris jumps them in episode 1. He either gets killed or he beats them, and the show's over.
Yeah,
they can't. I think that's literally why they have to then create obstacles to stop them being able to jump them, because otherwise the show would wrap very easily. Like, even the fact that they're terrorists and they don't, like, only one of them has a loaded gun. Actually, is like, how convenient. Right.
Oh yeah, everything was convenient. Everything was just like almost too perfect.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's why I was like, oh, this is like an Agatha Christie novel.
Yes,
it's a whodunit. It's a locked room mystery. That is what it is. Like, it's not supposed to feel realistic at all. I think it's just supposed to be like, what clever ways can we get Idris Elba to find a way out of a situation? Like, what clever ways can we make this, like, so there's a bit where basically Budapest, Hungary are like, right, so there's a plane flying over us right now that shouldn't be flying over us. We're going to shoot it out of the sky. And the jets are literally right next to them, about to blow, and they're trying desperately to communicate to the ground that, like, no, don't worry, they're not terrorists, they're British terrorists, and they're not your problem, they're not trying to do anything to you. And it's like down to the wire. You know, we're with the jets, the Hungry jets being like, okay, we're you know, T-minus 30 seconds away from shooting them, and like just in the nick of time, it's like, oh, they're British, so pull out, and they're like, okay, great, and they pull out. But for that episode, you know, the tension is, will this plane get shot out of the sky before they can stop themselves? And all of those things, like, I just think that's the only way that you can continue the drama, because you're just on this plane for 7 hours. It would be near impossible, and that's why. I think that's why I am impressed with it, because if someone said to me, "Come up with 7 hours of TV on a plane," I don't think I could do it.
I do think that the series could be even more pacey if they took it down to like a mini series of like 5 episodes. Because I think you can get to all the drama points. There's some extra meat you can cut off in terms of some of the storylines. Like once Sam's ex-wife's partner, once he got like connect through the government friend, that girl, I think she was in
yeah, she's really familiar.
Yeah, she's familiar anyway. We didn't need to go back to her. Because once he did the connect, we honestly didn't need to understand that they had a backstory where they used to date. Like, no one cares. Like, get back to connecting him to the government and then starting to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, but I also feel like if you don't do stuff like that, it just, you as a viewer would be like, how convenient that everybody seems to know exactly who they need to know. You know, you have to have these two only know each other because of this, because otherwise, how convenient that Idris Elba's wife is dating a police officer who knows someone in MI5 who can save them.
No, I do think the first link together when he was like, "I'm suspicious, I need your help," I think that was great. But I felt like we kept on going back to her.
Yeah, but she was our way into Parliament.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think there's some things that could have been like, that could have made the cutting room floor, but still kept the integrity of the show and sped up the pace a bit more. But would you want to watch the series too?
Yeah, if I had nothing else to watch. I really there are bits of it that have stuck with me. Like in that first episode, when again there was just so many. The show, I just think it was so funny because it took itself so seriously. Honestly. But there was a bit where the terrorists are outside of the cockpit and the door is closed, and they're like, "Let us in." And the co-pilot says to the pilot, "We're obviously not going to let them in." He's like, yeah. And they're like, "Well, we've got XYZ, who's a flight attendant that the co-pilot has been having an affair with."
Yeah.
So he's like, "We've got to open the door." No, that the pilot has been having an affair with. So he says to the co-pilot, "We have to open the door." She's like, "No, that's not the procedure. We're not going to let the terrorists into the cockpit." Oh my God. He's like, "We have to." She's like, "We actually can't." He's like, "We have to. They're going to kill her." So she's basically, I feel like, covering the button that opens the door, being, "I'm not going to let you do that." And he, for some reason, has a picture of his family in the cockpit, which he then proceeds to beat her up with.
That was crazy.
It was, honestly,
that was wild.
I said, this show is crazy. Yeah. He's beating the shit out of this woman. Yeah. Also, someone pointed out that, like, the dramatic irony of him beating this woman with a picture of his family who he is destroying anyway by cheating on her with this woman on the plane. I was like, know, somebody came up with that and everyone was like, "That's it. That's the one." And that was the moments like that made me be like, this show goofy AF.
Oh yeah, it is.
But that scene, I was like, oh, I don't know if I would have thought that Apple would be okay with the mindless attacking of a woman. Yeah. Because she's a woman as well. I don't know, it was just honestly so jarring to me. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that on TV, where it's not like a show specifically about abuse, where a man is just punching the shit out of a woman because he doesn't want his little girlfriend to die.
I thought she was dead. But
yeah, she's a real trooper for surviving that. Because he really wanted her to die. Yeah,
I think there was some interesting gems in the show. If it was series 2, I most likely wouldn't watch, but I do think it was an interesting watch in general.
I think Idris's company also co-produced it.
Yeah.
So
he's heavily involved.
Yeah, and George K. writes it, who writes Lupin and Criminal for Netflix. So
that makes sense. And
Criminal is again a show that takes place in one room.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want someone to write you something that takes place in one place, you can trust George K. to give you an entertaining couple of hours. And to be fair, like, I really liked Criminal. Some of the episodes hit and some of them didn't. And I think that's just about sometimes about performance and the way the story is told, the pace of that story. Like, yeah, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. But it's perfectly... I saw an article that called it the rise of mid-TV. And I was like, it's perfectly medium TV. Yeah. You will not spend the rest of your life thinking about this show. Yeah. And you definitely won't, based off that show, be like, we must make a show set on a plane. Yeah. But you can be like, that was fine to watch after work over your dinner before you go to bed.
Yeah, it was cute. So, what would you rate it?
I'd rate it a 3. I liked it.
I think it's, like you said, it's
maybe
mid.
3.5.
I will still keep it 3. It's mid. But not a bad mid. Like, it's good, like, easy watching. But yeah, it's interesting. Idris is getting to a stage in his career where where Idris just plays Idris. Yeah, like I never saw him as Sam. And at any time I was like, why is Idris here?
Loads of articles have said that he's turning into a bit of a Jason Statham or The Rock, in that like he just is playing a version of himself. But do you know what?
It's working.
I think that I also feel like Idris Elba has shown us that he has range. So maybe you can hang it up now. There were a lot of actors who reach a certain age who just be doing what they do. Like, I love Olivia Colman, but Olivia Colman is Olivia Colman in most things. Oh yeah, you know.
True.
It's just you become a brand.
Yeah.
And his brand is this sort of brooding superhero. Yeah. But regular man superhero.
Yeah, and he seems to have coined it well. So, next week.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We are
doing couples therapy.
We're doing couples therapy.
I don't know what series.
Series 3, 4,
5.
5.
Maybe 4.
No, what weirdly on iPlayer it's a continuation of the last season.
Oh yes.
But I actually think on Showtime it's a new season. So I don't really know why the BBC has not made that distinction. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it really was the tail end of the last season that they just held off from us for some reason. I'm not quite sure, but
because there is series 4 of couples therapy. Wait, sorry, series 4 of couples therapy is airing next year.
Yeah,
so maybe it's a continuation of series 3.
Yeah,
but this is a staple. We've loved couples therapy from the very beginning on this pod.
There are gonna be some people that make us hot. I'm actually going to try not to be hot on the podcast next week because I was a bit too hot last week and I have taken some time to reflect.
But Lisa came out and apologised.
Who?
Lisa.
Oh yes, we forgot to talk about... And Raya's pregnant.
And Raya's pregnant, yes! That was it. Good eggs. I mean, good egg. And another egg in the belly.
None of these people should be having babies with each other. I really wanted to be like, oh, congrats, when Raya posted. I was like, oh no.
Because I don't think it was like massively far off when the reunion happened.
That explains though why she wasn't getting heated. If she was just thinking, I need to keep my blood pressure low.
Oh yeah.
Because she also has lost a baby before.
Yeah, she has.
I just feel like she shouldn't have come on the show.
None of them should have come on the show. We're not going to go back to it.
No, I mean on the reunion. I think she could have sat that out.
Yeah, she could have sat that out. But I think there's probably like a stipulation that you have to be there.
Yeah, but they let that girlie leave the show when she was pregnant.
Oh yeah.
What? Don't like that. Not protecting people. No. Netflix and whoever makes The Ultimatum, probably Nick and Vanessa the Shade.
No, it's the same production company as Love Is Blind.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know, but good luck to all of them, I guess.
Exactly. But we are going to move on and wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said move on like we were going to talk about something else.
I know, no, I meant like we're going to like wrap that up. And yeah, this has been Scripts and Giggles.
With Shoshana.
And Marley.
Yeah, I don't know why you paused.
Oh, sorry, crap.
Too late.
Sorry.
It's done now. I'm now Shoshana.
And I am Marley.
Question mark?
Question mark. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.